I had my first drink when I was 7 years old, and I sporadically used it until I was older and could get a constant supply. In '83, I stopped drinking and for 17 years, but I really wasn't following through with a recovery program. I went back out for 14 years. I went from having a job, a home, and a family to being literally an indigent drunk on the streets. I didn't bathe, I didn't have a clean clothes. I only had one set of clothes. I didn't even brush my teeth for 2 weeks of my last drunk. And I ended up, by the grace of God, going through Willamette Family, through their detox and also their in-house patient. And as a result of a lot of help from the counselors there, the staff there, the nurse practitioner, and a therapist, I now stand here before you sober and happy. Hope, that's the big word for me. We hear that a lot, but I had no future. I mean, all I was laying there is I was drinking until I passed out. I was drinking for oblivion. I didn't want to come to again because all it was about was getting enough cans to buy some more alcohol for the day. And what I got was hope. And I mean, there's a future. I have a future, and it's right now it seems my possibilities keep opening up wider and wider. And my life has literally got better since August 18th. Of 2014. More things have happened to me, good things. I'm a member of my community now. I do volunteer work in a place where I practice my faith, and it's hope is the big thing. And I've met a lot of people out there. My observation of them, or I just connected with them because they felt the way I did. It's just like we've given up. We have no hope. We're hopeless, and just drink until, you know, there's just no hope for us. They may not verbalize it, but that's the way I was. What's the point? There's no hope for me. For the other people, yes, but not me. And I was resigned to drinking until they, you know, quite frankly, find my corpse someplace as an indigent drunk, probably buried in a potter's field, or however they do it these days. My medical problems are a result of my primary problem, which is I'm an alcoholic. And that is, you know, they say it's a disease, and looking at me, it was an obsession that when I started drinking, it overrode all thoughts to the contrary. Nothing about health, it was always about the next drink. And pretty much I was committing suicide on the installment plan. I'm very grateful that I tend to own my own emotions, and I'm not blaming other people like, oh, I'm in a bad mood so the world owes me something. It's like, well, hey, feelings come and go. I don't have to respond to this or live in it. They did not start there. I don't think, you know, they weren't a kid saying, oh gee, I can't wait, Mom, until I grow up and I become a street drunk and pushing a shopping cart around and digging through trash cans for cans so I can drink alcohol endlessly and then pass out and get up and do the same thing next day. They come from a place, like all of us come from families. Maybe their families weren't the best, but you know, they had hopes and dreams and aspirations. And somewhere along the line, the disease of alcoholism and drug addiction took over, and all those things go away. Then it's just survival. Then it gets to, I just can't stand living anymore, and you know, please let this be the last time I drink, and let me not come to. That was very much true for me. I was very disappointed when I would come to from drinking. That was my only solution, oblivion. I mean, absolute non-existence.
Rising to the street, light me up that cigarette, statues on my feet, got to find a...
For me, it's shame. I wouldn't, when I was out canning, I wore a hat, and I don't wear hats, and I'd look down at the street, I wouldn't look at cars going by, I wouldn't even look in a mirror. And I just didn't want to meet anybody's eyes because I felt they thought about me the way I felt about me, and I just did not like myself very much. Loathed is probably a more appropriate term. I didn't want to be this man. I couldn't stop being this man, and I felt helpless in my alcoholism and addiction. So I just kept drinking because that was, and it wasn't for a euphoric effect, it was just totally numb myself. On a cerebral and an emotional level, I just didn't want to feel anything. Feelings were not good for me. I didn't like them. To understand that the people there, they really don't want to be there, even if they militantly defend their right to be there, because I've done that, you know, I'm not hurting you. they're trapped. And sometimes you just have to say a prayer for them if that's your calling, and that it's a disease, and it's no different than other diseases. Unfortunately, socially, it's very unattractive. And it's easy to look down on someone who doesn't have the right, is dirty and smells bad. And sometimes they're unpleasant people to be around. I was. At that point, I didn't really feel I was worth anything. I really didn't feel like I measured up to you or anybody else out here. I felt very much ashamed of just my whole being. And they treated me like I had value and worth. And quite frankly, they kept treating me that way until I actually kind of started believing it myself, like, wow, maybe it's okay for me to be here. And that was, I know that sounds kind of strange, but that's true. And it's not something that was bestowed on me. It was something that I developed and marinated, quite frankly, over the years. I'm doing what I don't want to do. I'm harming people I loved. And I just keep drinking because I don't know what else to do. And after a while, you don't feel too good about yourself. I did not feel too good about myself. And they treated me like a human being. I mean, like, wow, it doesn't matter, what you're wearing or where you're from. You're a genuine human being, and you have worth and value and things to offer the community. That's a big deal when all of a sudden, after a while, consistently treating me that way, you start saying, wow, I guess maybe that's true. It's just not something they say, and it is, I believe I'm becoming the man that I was originally created to be, and before, I basically was I was destroying myself with chemicals. I actually believe now that I was, like everybody in this planet, we were born to be something, an original, and I was trying to be a copy, and it didn't work out too well.